Okay, in this video I'm going to show you guys how to cut your windshield down shorter easily and at home if that's something you want to do. I'm also going to show you how to take a large windshield, if you can get your hands on one, and cut it down to fit your bike, because that's what I'm going to be doing to that beautiful new red bike that I bought. And I want to show you at the end of this video, I'm going to show you how the guy destroyed that windshield himself by doing something that a lot of guys do, and how to not do that. And I'm also going to have some information about the red bike. I'm going to talk about what's going on with it and when I'll be riding it towards the end of this video. And I'm going to have some information there too about the Gypsy Jean Cancer Run coming up, what is it, pretty soon. And I'm going to show you guys how that you guys out there ultimately are going to be directly involved in this thing, because we're going to have you all pick the people that get the money, bring us information about people who have somebody suffering from cancer in their family, and we've kind of decided that that's how we're going to find people to get the money to. So I hope you stay tuned for that. Watch this to the end. If you don't, I hope you skip forward to watch those parts, if you don't watch the whole video, to catch that. And with that, let's get this show rolling. Okay, first off, the guy must have washed the windshield with soap, because look how wasted it is. I mean, it's pretty useless, right? So I've got another windshield. It's bigger, and somebody gave me, and I think it may have a scratch or two in it, but it's way better than that. And I'm going to take the one out of the mule, trace it, and cut it. And when I do that, I'll show you guys how I did it, so you can cut your own windshields. You know, I haven't bought one, I don't think, ever. Maybe since I was newly into Harleys. I don't think I even bought one then. They're not that hard to cut, and I'll show how that's done. Okay, there's the old one. Here's the new one. Not really the same, are they? This one's pretty good. It's not great. It's hard to get a perfect used one because they get scratched and stuff. But it's way better than what I got. And if I really wanted a good one, I could go to the guys that do windshields at the rallies and see if I could get a takeoff from them. That's a good one, because they sell them fancy ones. And I did that. That's actually the one that's on the mule. That's where I got it. So let's go take a look at that. Okay. Now, these two bikes are the same. And look at that hazy stuff. See it? Okay, this one here is not hazy. It's dirty. But once I clean it up, it's pretty good. It's not hazy like that. So, the one for the mule came out of something like the one I'm holding in my hand. So what I'm going to do is take it off, hold it up to this one, and then I'm going to use a Sharpie, and then I'm going to cut it. All right, let's take a look at this. We got the glare from the skylights above, so there's nothing I can do about that. But I simply laid this one over the top of the other one, took the Sharpie, and outlined it. I took a thin Sharpie. This one he's got is not permanent. And there's a line up here, see it? Okay. And I'm going to cut that out with the Dremel tool. Stick it on the motorcycle. Drill the holes. I'll cut the bottom across, and I'll probably cut the top with it on the bike, because it'll be easier to do it that way. First, I'll cut the bottom and mount it. Now I'm going to cut this windshield. I'm going to do it with this Dremel tool, which I've done before. But it can also be done with one of them little hand saws, bow saw. You get at the hardware store. It's kind of tricky to do it that way. You got to put a towel down, put your knee on it, and be kind of careful. But got a real thin blade on it. But I'm going to use this Dremel, and let's take a look. You know, I'm not going to be able to show you guys the whole process because I'm going to need both hands, right? Let's see if I can get this working better. All right, I'm going to just take it, follow the line. As you can see, that thing kind of melts its way through it, leaves this plastic here. So this is the bottom of the windshield, so you're not going to see it anyway, but on the top it's more important. You want to take this off mostly with your fingers and your thumbnail. The object is to use something that's softer than the plastic and it won't scratch it. If you use metal or something, it'll scratch it. But this is the bottom of it, so it's not really going to matter anyway. When we get to the top, I'll show you more. When I cut this end of it, I'll show you more about it. For right now, just getting this stuff out of the way. This is what I got. I'm gonna stick it in here. Unfortunately, I only have one hand because I do not have a camera person. Now, this later model one's a little shorter on the end, unfortunately. But, and then, let's try to get it about right. Now I'm simply going to take this and go put a bolt in that one. Unfortunately, I don't have screws for this. It uses this funky thing, which, as you can see, I took off of the mule long ago because this thing's a pain in the ass. So what I'm going to do is stick one of the bolts in there, okay? And then drill another hole right there. And I'm just going to do all of them until I can put that piece back on it. Okay, now I just turn that thing around so I can stick 2 bolts in the hole because I'm just trying to keep them all lined up, right? And now that this little strip's on and it's all bolted in, I don't know if you can see it. I'm going to get the Dremel tool. Where's it at? Can't see it for a second. There's the line. Now I'm going to cut this on the line. I'm going to do it right on the bike. I'm going to let the bike hold it for me while I cut it. Okay, now this stuff, again, just take it off with your fingers and your fingernails, this melted stuff, okay? Your thumbnail will not scratch the plastic. My next order of business, you can see it's, I don't know if you can see it, it's a little rough across the top here. I'm simply going to take this file, it's going to take both hands, I'm going to file this down until it's real pretty. I'm going to need both hands to do it, and I don't have a photographer. But what I'm going to do is take this and go across this until I get it real nice. And try not to hit the sides with this file because the file will scratch it. You know, even the file is going to leave some plastic along the edges. Just work it off with your thumbnail. You'll get it if you work at it. I always do. I'm sure you can too. Now, you can work this down if you want to spend time. You can take your file and work it down until it's beautiful, which I'm not going to, or until it looks perfect. But my bikes tend to be workhorses, not showpieces, and I don't care about that. So this is what you want to do. See, I'm taking off my thumbnail by getting it on this camera. Same little pieces. Just clean it up, and then it's really done for that matter at that point. Okay? Okay, now that's pretty well done. I just copied that one. As you can see, that's the size I already know that I like. But you could keep cutting it down if you wanted. This was the one that came on it. Okay? You can't see shit through that thing, right? I just hacked the top off so I could look over it because I couldn't see through it. Right? So this one's obviously a lot better. It's pretty clear, that one. The mules has been around a little longer, but it ain't bad. And that's it. That thing really needed that. So anyways, that's how you cut one if you want to. That one's fine. God, the old one was horrible. So I always just get a good takeoff windshield. Somebody who's bought something fancy, or they didn't know they could cut it, you know, you can just keep cutting it until you get the height that you want, although it's a pain in the butt, but you can. And I just cut them to fit. I've always done that for like long as I can remember. I think I might have bought one once. It was that height. I liked it, and so I just kept cutting them all like it. As far as the swooping windshields go, you guys know the fancy ones that swoop. I personally don't care for them, and I'll tell you what the reason is. It's because they distort the road in front of you. They make the line go like this when you're looking through them. And I personally don't like dark ones either. These are just my personal preferences. Because a dark windshield, all it does is block my field of vision in front of me. I mean, it's not going to keep the sun off you. So I prefer just a standard windshield. I want it at a height always that I'm looking through, but just the top of it, because that just keeps the wind off me. On a bagger like this at 80 miles an hour, I don't even tie my helmet down. Before I wore glasses, I never wore them. I'd ride till 3 in the morning, never put them on, sometimes 4 in the morning, because I didn't need them. So I don't want the wind on me. For a guy who lives on a bike and travels, you know, and lives in a tent, I don't like wind. So I want it cut to the point of where I'm looking through it, but if I sit up, I can see over it. Like you see something moving down the road, you don't know if it's a deer or something, or whatever it is. It's raining, so I always want to be able to see over them. For when I really need to see something. And you know, you got glare on the windshield or water on the windshield, or it's dirty or whatever. That's where I like them. Oh, I want to say this. That windshield that the guy had on here, because the bike's in immaculate condition, he was probably using the stuff at the gas station to wash it with, or Windex or whatever, all that stuff, because that windshield's wasted and the bike's in really good condition. And I read a magazine article years ago, and it turned out to be true. It's in a bike magazine, right? And what it said is the only thing you want to use on your windshield is something that's made for plastic, or just water in a soft rag. It also said wipe one direction so the scratches go that way. And ever since I started doing that, my windshields have lasted a long time. That stuff that's made for glass ain't good for plastic. So either buy something right for it, or just use water, and a lot of water, and a soft cloth. And even the bugged legs and stuff scratch that plastic. So you just want to kind of try to wash it off. Mine lasts a really long time, ever since that magazine article I read. And anyways, there's a new one on the red bike. Now I want to take a minute or two to talk about the mule and the red bike. As some of you know, I got that new red bike this last year and put it in a friend of mine's barn. But the deal is I'm not all excited about riding it. The mule is like your favorite old t-shirt that you never want to get rid of until it falls off your back. But eventually you can't keep them running anymore. And I learned that on the bike before it, which was Betsy. I don't know how many of you remember that one. That one, I finally retired it with 534,000 miles on the speedometer. But the fucking thing just fell apart. It was a 1988 Electroglide, and I thought I could keep it running forever, and I found out I just couldn't. And so I ended up with the mule, which looked like the red bike when I got it. So the red bike is for when the mule begins to completely fall apart. So I'm not excited or in a hurry to get to it or nothing. What I'm doing is leaving it here, and I'm just going to combine, make some of the changes I want, change the handlebars, make the headlights. We did that this time. The passing lights stay on with the high beam, things of that nature. The things I always do to the bikes. I always cut the seat, change the bars, a couple other things. And then I'll come by and get it at some point. But I'm not going to be able to finish all the things I want to do to the red bike because I'm running out of time. Because I have to get to Columbia, Mississippi for the Gypsy Jean Cancer Run, which is coming up, what is it? It's June the 20th through the 23rd, so it'll be mostly probably on the 21st, which will be a Saturday this year. That may change in the future. So, as some of you know who's been following this, what we're going to do is we want to raise money for cancer, but not for cancer research. I refuse, because I don't believe they're trying to cure that disease. We're going to take the money and give it to the families of people that have somebody in their family that is suffering from this disease, to help offset their financial burden during those hard times like that, because You know they ain't easy. I just went through it. Well, I know they ain't easy. I went through it with Gypsy Jean. But this year they've picked somebody they want to give it to, and it's a local girl. Her name's Tara Fortenberry, and her young son Reed. Now, she'd been fighting cancer for just a few years, which devastated her financially, and they were trying to get the money to give to her, and she just died recently. And her last request was that the money goes to her son's education. He now has to be raised by his grandparents, who do not have a lot of money. Now, I was originally opposed to this idea because I want the money to go directly to the families of somebody who's suffering at the moment. But Scotty pointed out to me that the locals are heavily involved in this, and they've been watching Tara these last few years. And it's a smaller community. And like it was with Gypsy Jean up in Arkansas, all the locals knew. When I went down to the restaurant to eat, the waitress knew who I was and what was going on. And so they were all watching what was happening with Tara. They were all supportive. And Scotty told me that helping somebody local, that this has gotten the locals involved, which is really important, and I believe he's right. We've been offered for next year, a guy has offered us an 85 acres of land that he has, that has more facilities, more showers on it. He's going to give it to us for free, so he says. We have a band, I believe, that's willing to play this year for free, and it's created a local commotion about the rally and made it very important in that area. And I think he's right. I think that's a big plus, and I think we should do this. But next year, it hasn't been decided exactly what we're going to do, but the idea is basically going to be that we are going to ask you guys to send us names and information and addresses and phone numbers or whatever of people you know, somebody you know that is suffering, that has somebody in their family suffering from cancer, so that we can try to get the money to them to help offset the financial burdens that they're going through. If we make enough money, we'll be able to help multiple people, and if we make more, we hopefully will be able to do the same for even more. Now, this is not going to involve any corporations or any administrative bullshit or nothing like that. This is Americans helping Americans. I don't know if we will ever be able to help abroad, but it's going to be people directly helping people, and the idea is to have you guys involved so you can help us find out who really needs this money. Okay, with that being said, this year the rally is going to be at Columbia Lake, Mississippi, on the date what I just tell you it was, June 20th through the 23rd. And with that, you guys, right now I'm going to leave you the images for the information on where, when, and how to find out about the Gypsy Jean Cancer Run, which is going to take place in the smaller town, it's kind of a rural town, of Columbia, Mississippi. It's in southern Mississippi. And with that, I'll see you on the next video.